CohhCarnage, one of my favorite streamers by far, in Twitch's top 25, to come in at number 24. Cohh, or Ben, has been a force of nature in terms of growth and positivity and keeping a large chat well maintained. However, Cohh was not always a streamer. Before streaming, he was going to create his own game with his own studios and game design, but eventually went to focus solely on streaming. And even before that, Cohh was a mighty sexy DJ. But let's not spend too much time on that. I need my blood to circulate. Cohh's name comes from a relatively simple place. He originally wanted to make his name CO, but in EverQuest, the game that he was playing when creating this name, he needed it to be at least 4 letters long, so he switched it to CohhH. And the guild that he was in was Carnage. Eventually, when he ended up creating his Twitch name, the name CohhCarnage was created. Cohh did start streaming Defiance in 2013 through people of his own guild wanting to see the game. They weren't really sure if they wanted to buy it. So with the support of his guild and friends, early in his Twitch career, he actually got a lot of traction and grew quite a bit just playing this game. The personality he also brought was very lovely, and it just brought a lot of people together. With the traction that he gathered, he wanted to go full time and was streaming a lot, but the actual performance of his channel as he was going, streaming ridiculous amounts of times every day for many months, the performance was not good, and he decided that it was time to take a step back and redo his channel, which ended up making a more family-friendly atmosphere, treating it more like a job, and this small change is actually what started the true success of his channel. Not long after creating these changes, Archeage came out, and to the MMO market, this was kind of a new game for a lot of people. It brought a lot of popularity to his channel, as few streamers bought into the beta/alpha of the game, because I believe it was around like $100 to $300. It's been quite some time since that has gone on. The game being pretty unique to the genre also just brought in a lot of new people that were interested in MMOs, because there was not a game like Archeage that had come out in quite some time. Most things were dominated by the Final Fantasy and WoW era style of MMOs. But this game brought lots of PvP, lots of player interaction in the economy and guild politics. When you have factions that can battle each other and people that can become pirates from killing other players so many times, it created a lot of interesting dynamics in the game. This driving force from playing Archeage brought his channel to even greater numbers, and this success allowed him to continue doing what he wanted to do in streaming. As he grew and grew and grew, he created a much bigger team that was able to support him going forward. This team is probably one of the large part of his successes of his channel, because not only was it trusted members of his community, it also was one of the first paid teams on Twitch. It was very uncommon for people to be paying their moderators or team members that they had that were, but Cohh's channel was one of those channels that did. The tools that were created by some of the team was probably one of the best analytical tools that had his growth of his channel be accelerated, because at the time there was not a lot of analytical tools on Twitch, and even the tools that are provided by Twitch today are not a very strong analytic tool to use. But these tools allowed him to gain information, allowed him to get proper demographics and things of the like, to make moves in the industries, to find games that would be good categories for him to grow, and then take part of that market. More so, however, this team that was created for him, this team that is much the same part of his channel that he is, through his own leading, through moderation and interaction, created a friendly and supportive community that's voices roars over a bonfire, in which everyone comes together in what Cohh likes to kind of call as good vibes. These people are all kind of looking out for each other, are all kind of interested in people's own happiness, and really want to just have a generally good time. It's one of the more defining features of CohhCarnage's channel. He has stated before that he's had creators when he was growing that were much, much larger than them, were actually envious of the kind of community that he grew, just because their communities were not like that. It's not an easy thing to do, and communities are often reflections of the creator. If you cannot produce the same energy and the same kind of passion and interaction and building things that Cohh did, it's very difficult to achieve that kind of community. Was it 100% Cohh? No. But did they follow around Cohh? Did they grow around Cohh? Did they build that bonfire? Did they bring the wood to Cohh's stream? Yes, they did. Cohh's also done several charities over his growth, with many different goals for many different organizations. He often hits things like St. Jude's and other organizations like that, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars every year and creating some of the most memorable moments for his stream, such as Kuromi-chan. That's one that will never be forgotten. Cohh's also been featured in several games as he grew on his channel, such as doing the voice acting for a quest giver in Cyberpunk. I'm sure everybody who's played Cyberpunk has ran into him. It is the conspiracy theorist bum that's just right outside one of the first cyber doctor's shops. And, well, not only is it his voice, it's also modeled after him, and it was a really cool thing to be a part of this game that he was so excited for such a long time. And more recently, he's been the voice for a character in Kingmaker, and Kingmaker is like an RPG kind of tactical D&D like game, and he is one of the voices that you can choose for his character, which is great. Some more accomplishments, and probably a notable one that Cohh is known for is that he did stream for 2,000 days through thick and thin, sickness and health, all while having 2 children come into his life while he was doing the challenge, and just a few weeks ago having their 3rd children, Asher, be born. It's an amazing feat. Not only was he able to continue streaming through his extremely supportive wife that was able to help him through this whole journey, to be that consistent, to have that kind of discipline, to be able to push for over 5 years to do this is absolutely insane. It is more discipline that I have seen be exerted over any passion in just about anybody's life. He does mention that after finishing this challenge and taking a single, this madman took a single day off after 2,000 days, you know, really well lived, you know, really needed that one day to recover from a 2,000 days straight challenge. This man has the recovery rate of a troll to be able to get back up so quickly. He was very happy that after finishing this, a lot of stress, you know, there is a lot of stress in streaming and not really sure how the market's going to go and how it's going to continue to grow and if this is going to continue to be a viable career. But at this point, it's gotten to a level in which he knows he's in a great point, and that level of disconnect that he can do now that he's no longer on this 2,000 day challenge, that he can take a day off if he really wants to, take an afternoon, go on vacation, and not have to worry, is a massive load off of his shoulders. Now, what is Cohh doing today? He's still doing about everything that he's been doing for years now. He continues to push forward. I'm sure we'll see many more voice acting things come from Cohh as well. He's very connected to a lot of devs when they come and play his games. For example, Kingmaker, one of the reasons why he was able to voice this new game is because he was very active in the old game, and was very active with the devs trying to show off all of the different endings for that game as well. So because of that connection is probably why he was able to do these kinds of voice acting. So I imagine that we will see some more things like this. But he still continues, moves forwards, living and breathing the love that he shows, his team, his community. They are all going extremely strong. So we're going to continue to show great games. He's going to continue to do charities like he does almost every year, if not every year. And I did see a mention in an article. Now this could just be a bunch of baloney, but when he was working on his game, it's not necessarily that's completely abandoned. He just went and moved all of his focus to streaming. So it's not entirely possible that maybe one day Cohh will bring that back through a studio that's maybe funded through himself. But there's no guarantee. This is just speculation at this point. I do know that Cohh is actually creating a streaming studio in the new house that he moved to, setting up like VR spaces and things like that. So we should very well see a lot of new things, probably a lot more creative things coming up with these much larger space that he has in his new house. So that'll be a very interesting thing that we see in the future, but I can't imagine a lot changing personally with Cohh. He's probably one of the most consistent creators that I've ever watched, personality-wise. Definitely one of my comfort streamers. I've watched him since pretty much the Archeage times. That's it for Cohh.